Hi, and welcome to the Quick Start Guide for MessageManager. MessageManager is ultimately very simple. MessageManager becomes more complicated when you use text clipping and scroll lists, but to get started, it's fast and easy. All you need to do is import the MessageManager.cs script into your project. I've done that here already. I would suggest that you place this in the plugins folder next to EZGui and Sprite Manager 2 so that it compiles first, and this is important if you're using Unity.js or Unity script. The first thing that we need to do is create an instance of MessageManager. We do that by creating a new game object, and I'm going to name this MessageManager. Then we need to add the MessageManager component. We can either do this by dragging it from the project window, or we can go to the component menu, EZGui, Add-ons, MessageManager. And this creates an instance of MessageManager. Next, we need to have a message display, and we do this by creating a sprite text object. So we create a new game object, which I'm going to call message display. To this we need to add a sprite text component, which we can get by going to the components menu, EZGui, controls, label. This creates a sprite text object. Let's set this to the UI layer so that our camera will see it, and set the render camera to UI camera. Next, we should set our sprite font, which we need to set the definitions file and the material. And then let's set a character size and dynamic length. I'm going to remove the text here and call it message display. This is so that it'll show up in our game world and we'll know what it is. For the purposes of this demo, let's set the anchor to lower center and the alignment to center. Now, we need to register this sprite text display with the MessageManager. In MessageManager, there's one exposed variable called message displays. This is an array of all the message displays that you're using in your game. Let's go ahead and set this to 1 and drag the message display into the message display slot, and let's call this my message display. Let's give it a default color of white, build direction up, a fade delay of 5, and a fade speed of 1. Let's ignore everything else as this is a quick start guide. Now, to send this display a message, we only need one line of code within an existing script as long as you have a reference to MessageManager. So let's go ahead and find an existing script. If you go ahead and look at this project when I hit play, the sphere instantiates a prefab every time it strikes the ground. Let's go ahead and grab that script. This script is called collision effect. And if we look at it in MonoDevelop, you'll see that it very simply has one prefab that it instantiates when it hits the ground. And we can send a message with just one line of code. And this is the one line of code. MessageManager dot instance dot message. The message display that we choose to route it to, which in this case is my message display, and a simple message, which in this case will be contact. Now that's it. That's all you need to be able to communicate with MessageManager and to send a message to our message display. Let's look more closely at the methods available for MessageManager. We can see that there are two overloaded methods for message. One is this display ID and a message, and the other is this display ID, a message, and a color. The other thing that's important to note is that since this is a string variable that we're sending as a message, we can send anything that Unity can save as a string. In this case, let's route a message to my message display. And let's send a custom message that says contact point is, and then let's send the contact point information from the collision. And we can do this by taking pause dot toString. And let's send it in the color red. Now, we're done. Let's save this, and let's swap back over to Unity and go ahead and hit play. And there you have it. So that's the quick start guide for MessageManager. Now that's just the beginning. You can set up any number of displays to show any messages that you want. you need to do is create additional sprite text objects and register them with MessageManager. And, with only one line of code, call them from within your game. Suppose the sky's the limit. Use them for combat messages, chat text messages, or anything within your game that you can imagine. When you're ready, go ahead and watch the complete setup guide for MessageManager into multiple message displays, dealing with graphic backgrounds, clipping text, and putting text inside a scroll list. Thanks very much.